Good morning, and welcome to the Morning Report. The Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, fightbackmedia.com, and fightbackmediatv.com. My name is Willie Lawson. Uh, this morning, I want to address the phrase "follow the science." We were told all during COVID, "You have to follow the science." We're trying to follow the science. We're not following our emotions. We're following the science, right? And we found out what that was all about, didn't we? Last month, England sent shockwaves around the world when its National Health Service announced that children will no longer be prescribed puberty blockers. Predictably, the left-wing activists they just lost their damn mind, right, about the decision, as they are about any entity that prohibits children from changing their genders, quote unquote, at a young age. Despite this, and more states and local governments here in the U.S. have passed legislation protecting children from these so-called gender affirming treatments. And more transitions are speaking out about the harm these services cause their lives. Uh, we did a story here on the Morning Report about people are speaking. Were speaking at the Disney shareholders meeting about not giving care for people who were detransitioning, who had seen the harm that was caused, and they were trying to regain their lives. But anyway, a recent study published found that most children who feel, quote, transgender at a young age do exactly what a lot of us were saying all along. They grow out of it. They just grow out of it. They just leave it. And now, with it being really more of a fad or a trend than a thing, we they're seeing more and more kids grow out of it. Researchers at the Netherlands University of Groningen, Groningen, that's a hard word to say, released a 15-year study, Development of Gender Non-Contentness During Adolescent and Early Adulthood, that tracked the, quote, gender unhappiness of 2,772 participants ages 11 through 26. In early adolescence, 11% of participants reported gender non-contentness. The prevalence decreased with age and was 4% at the last follow-up at age 26. The study found. So they studied these kids from 11 years old up through 26, the very beginning of puberty, all the way to their mid 20s. Gender non-contentness, while being a relatively common during early adolescence, in general decreases with age and appears to be associated with poor self-concept, mental health throughout development. Apparently, it's like folks who have trouble with mental health. But we knew that, right? But we all knew that. Before England's National Health Service pulled back offering puberty blockers for kids, researchers had issued guidance acknowledging that most transgender kids were likely to go through a phase. Your 4-year-old thought they were a dinosaur too, but well. The guidance said that physicians should be open to exploring all developmentally appropriate options for children who are showing signs of gender dysphoria, keeping in mind this may be a transient phase. The report added that social transitioning should not be seen as a neutral act due to the impact it may have on the child's psychology. So just letting them, letting the boy wear a dress, changing their name from, from Jason to Jennifer, and not actually doing anything physically is not neutral. It's not. It actually, if these kids are having trouble psychologically, that tips the scale, right? Okay. Social transitioning includes going by a different name, using preferred pronouns, which is foolishness. By the way, rabbit trail. Pronouns are used in the third person. If I refer to you, as your pronoun, you'll never hear it because you'll be in the third person, which means you're not there. I'm talking to somebody else about you, and you're not hearing it. So using your preferred pronoun is not a thing. English. All right. And dressing like the opposite gender. In some cases, they will use bathrooms that align with their gender identity instead of their biological sex. The clinical approach has to be mindful of the risks of an inappropriate gender transition and the difficulty that the child may experience in returning to the original gender role upon entering puberty, if the gender incongruence does not persist into adolescence, the report said. What do we tell them? When we're talking about taking a 10-year-old and just going by what they say and getting these kids on puberty blocking drugs, which screws their head up, which screws up their hormones, and call it affirming as if it was something good, it's tragedy. I'm not much for having us here in the US behave like those there in Europe. But if most of our states ought to adopt this National Health Service plan to stop offering puberty blockers to young kids just because they want them. Don't you think? All right. Again, thank you for coming to the morning report. My name is Will Austin. Until we see you again, go out there and learn to love somebody. And for goodness sakes, don't take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you. Bye now.